Thanks very much for staying with us. Time now for Africa News with me, Georgia Calvin-Smith. Tonight, lawyers for British millionaire Shrien Dewani argue that he should be cleared of the honeymoon murder of his bride because South African prosecutors have failed to prove their case. Also, dozens die in the worst flash floods southern Morocco has seen in decades. The weather alert triggered over the weekend, though, is finally called off on Monday. And we're joined by Ivorian musician Tiken Jah Fakoly. He's one of several African artists adding his voice to an Ebola appeal song released on Monday. Africa Stop Ebola is a homegrown alternative to Band-Aid's controversial Christmas offering. First up, in South Africa, lawyers for British millionaire Shrien Dewani are calling for the case against him over the honeymoon murder of his bride to be dropped. The defense in the high-profile case says the state's evidence is so flimsy that he should be acquitted immediately. Now, the 34-year-old's accused of taking out a hit on his Swedish bride and trying to pass it off as a fatal hijacking. Shelley Sitman has the story.
4 years after Annie Dewani's murder, two families watched Cape Town prosecutors close their case, her own and her husband's, Shrien Dewani, the man accused of having her killed. It took prosecutors 3 years to bring the millionaire back to South Africa, but now he could go free before the trial is over.
At the end of the prosecution's case, if there's no case on which a reasonable court could convict, then the accused is entitled to a discharge.
And that's what defense lawyers are asking. They say the prosecution's case relies on one witness, Zola Tongo, a taxi driver who's the killer's accomplice. On the day of the murder, Tongo drove the couple across a township near Cape Town until the cab was hijacked by the two hitmen. They forced him and Dewani out of the car, kidnapping Annie. The driver says that Dewani gave him money to hire the killers.
He deviated from his previous statements, he deviated in his evidence in court. So I don't think it's an indictment on the state as such. I think it's that they had a bad case from the beginning.
On this security video, the taxi driver and husband are seen talking in the hotel after Annie's kidnapping. Dewani says he had no idea at the time that the taxi driver was involved in the attack. Prosecutors say Dewani orchestrated the murder because he was gay and felt trapped in the marriage arranged by their families. Dewani says he did love his wife and would have never harmed her.
Now, the frontrunners in Tunisia's landmark presidential elections are already out of the starting blocks for a runoff vote, less than 24 hours after first-round polling ended. It doesn't look like any candidates reached the 50% threshold needed for an outright win from Sunday's election. Veteran anti-Islamist politician Beji Caid Essebsi's relaunched his ticket by saying his main rival, incumbent Monsef Marzouki, was the choice of jihadist Salafists, while Marzouki's chided Essebsi for waging a campaign of insults. Official results will be out by Wednesday and will be followed up by a vote likely in late December. Now, the weather alert for the heaviest storms southern Morocco has seen in decades was called off on Monday, but not before at least 32 people died in devastating flash floods. Half a dozen people are still missing.
Flash floods have swept away cars and homes and cut off roads, making it difficult for emergency crews to reach those stranded. Caught by the raging waters, this man tries to hold onto a tree. A few meters away, a group of young people seek refuge on the hood of their car as those nearby try to organize their rescue. Days of heavy rain have pounded southern Morocco, killing dozens and leaving many missing. In this village, the residents say they were sleeping when the floodwaters came.
Water was everywhere, in the stores and people's homes. 2 or 3 houses just collapsed.
We are using our tractors to rescue people. We've had more than 1.5 meters of rainfall in the village.
Officials say 200 people have been rescued by the country's security services so far, including 40 people evacuated by a helicopter. Flash floods are common in Morocco. In September, 4 children drowned when they were swept away by raging waters.
Look now at some news in brief. Hundreds of villagers were evacuated from the bottom of an erupting volcano in Cape Verde over the weekend. Pico do Fogo last erupted in 1995, and volcanologists say the latest blasts were even more explosive than then. The airport closed on Sunday, and the Prime Minister called on residents of the town of Chá das Caldeiras to leave, warning that the situation could deteriorate. There have been no reports of casualties. A Belgian mining giant has been accused of trying to cover up its part in the destruction of hundreds of homes around one of its operations in Democratic Republic of Congo. Activists from Amnesty International say Forest International helped bulldoze and forcibly evict people living around the Louis Wishi mine in Katanga in 2009. The company's denied having anything to do with the operation carried out by Congolese police. Amnesty, though, claims that it has satellite images and other evidence that shows otherwise. And Maasai elders in Tanzania have welcomed the president's first public pledge to safeguard traditional homelands near the Serengeti National Park. Campaigners had fought against rumoured plans to evict 40,000 Maasai from Loliondo to allow a game hunting business to be set up there. But President Jakaya Kikwete has stated on his Twitter account that there never has been and never will be any government plan to evict the tribesmen. Well, now we have the great pleasure of being joined by Ivorian musician Tiken Jah Fakoly, who's one of several African artists adding his voice to a new Ebola appeal song released today, Monday. Now, after Bob Geldof and Band-Aid's controversial Christmas offering in support of the effort against Ebola, Africa Stop Ebola is a homegrown alternative to that.
Je vous rassure, les docteurs vont vous aider. Il y a de l'espoir d'arrêter Ebola. Et confiance au docteur. Ebola, Ebola. Et confiance au docteur. Ebola, Ebola. Et confiance au docteur.
So, Tiken, it's pretty catchy, but it does have a very serious message. Who is it aimed at?
In this song, we're talking about prevention. We're trying to tell our brother and sister in Africa to do all their best, to wash their hand, and to respect all the prevention, because we need to stop this disease, because this disease is becoming dangerous for Africa image and African people, because some people think that Ebola is Africa, So we're trying to tell to everybody, to tell to everybody we can stop this disease.
When you say that the spread of Ebola has also affected Africa's image, that brings to mind the recent Ebola awareness song done by Band-Aid, by Bob Geldof. Mm-hmm. Now, there's been a lot of criticism by some people saying that it's really patronizing. What do you think about it?
I don't want to do a polemic about that. It's important when there is a situation like this situation, everybody be, I don't know how to say, mobilize.
Everyone works together.
Together to fight. But what we don't want, we don't want some message who's making, who's trying to, to put African people in a situation like people who is pity, this is what they want.
Seeing the whole continent as victims.
Yeah. So it's just it's 3 or 4 country. So Africa is 54 country. So Ebola is not everywhere in Africa. So we've really appreciated Bob Geldof project, but we were shocked to see some image in the video, just that, because we don't want everybody think everybody is dying in Africa because of Ebola,
So Africa Stop Ebola is African voices speaking to Africans about what they have to do to minimize the risk of Ebola. Do you think that artists, creative artists like yourself and others who were taking part in the song, play an important role in raising awareness like this?
Yes, we're playing a real role because everybody listens to our music. This is one of the differences between our project and the other project, because all the Guineans know Salif Keita, Tiken Jah Fakoly, Kanja Kora, Mori Kante, but some Guineans don't know the artists who are singing in the other song. But what is important today is everybody must be together to fight against this disease.
Thank you very much, Tiken Jah Fakoly, for coming out to see France 24.
Thank you.
Well, that wraps up African news from me for now, but do stay with us. A short break and more news and headlines from around the world coming up.
Doctor